welcome back to round 2, front 9 coverage out here the Disco Throws tournament at Neatman Creek Disc Golf Course.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this one goes today.
We got a lot of players still in the mix. It's a great course, kept up by Mark and Carolyn Tedder. They do a great job maintaining the property, especially for how new the course is.
Yeah, we had a slow start to round 1, but I think with round 2, we're really going to be able to turn it up and see what these players are capable of doing.
Yep, and with that being said, let's check in on some scores from round 1. We had Andrew Bell and Robert Duncan tied at 5 down, Russ Fisher and Standalone third at 1 down, and then Luke and Liam at even par, and then a handful of people tied at 1 over, and it just keeps on dwindling down from there. But everyone's still in the mix, so let's see where round 2 takes us. I'm Kaleb Little.
I'm Chase Pittman.
And we got exciting card for you guys, round 2. Changed it up, got a whole new batch of faces out here. Batch?
Okay. Like chickens?
Let's jump into some player profiles. All right, first up on our card is Chaz Chinault from Christiansburg, Virginia. Fun fact about Chaz, he throws righty sidearm, lefty sidearm, lefty backhand, and putts left-handed.
Next up, we got Kaleb Little. He's from Lincolnton, North Carolina. He's 924 rated. This guy is really doing good really fast, and he is only 17 years old.
Third player on our card is Andrew Bell from Greensboro, North Carolina. Andrew's a good dude, doesn't get flustered, and is always in it to win it, so you got to keep an eye on him.
Then rounding out the card, we have Tyler Palmer from Lexington, North Carolina. He's fairly new to the MA1 division, but he definitely belongs there. And this is just a great guy with great poses. First up, we got hole 1. It's a par 4, 536 feet. You're throwing off the top of the hill. You're going to cross this road here. The main thing you're watching out for is this Mando sign right here on this right tree. You obviously have to go left of that. If you go in the creek, you can elect to go to the drop zone free of penalty. Other than that, once you get down here, you're just going straight down this hallway and hopefully getting yourself a birdie.
Pretty straightforward. All right, first up we got Chaz. Just crushing a righty sidearm down, getting a massive flare. I think that was a Nuke OS that he threw down there. He's got some power, both sidearms.
Yeah, that thing flared up to the moon. That was ridiculous.
And Kaleb, the lefty, I believe this was his, it was a mid somewhere, maybe a zone, just trying to get around the corner down there.
Is the zone really a mid-range?
That's up for debate at a later date. Unintentional rhymes are the best. And Andrew just swings this one a little bit wide, but yeah, it fights through the limbs and kind of center fairway right where you want it. Tyler looking to do the same thing. Yeah, and also gets a flare. That one looked like it carried just a little bit deep into the creek, but like you said in the breakdown, he can either play it from there or go to the drop zone without penalty. So either way, he'll have a decent look at his upshot.
Yeah, all the guys getting off the tee pretty well here. They'll all still have a chance for their birdie looks.
Yeah, no one's kind of out of the picture in terms of birdie yet. This is Andrew just throwing his Comet right, kind of up the gut. He told me during the practice round he two'd this hole with a throw-in.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's the only 2 I've ever heard of out there. Kaleb throwing a nice upshot. That'll give him a good look at birdie and a nice start to his second round.
Kaleb puts a ton of spin on his throws, and it just looks very effortless.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power, and it's fun to watch him throw it.
Tyler's not got the best approach to this, but it looks like he's going to make it work.
Yeah, and that kind of got a little bit of ground action and pushed it even closer to the pin, so that'll be a inside the circle putt for birdie to start Tyler's second round off. Chaz elected going with the sidearm here, just looking to pitch something up. This one gets a little bit away from him at the end, but kind of looks like it's on the edge of circle still, so he'll still have a putt for it.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play because you have that hillside, and once it crashes into it, it's just going to roll back or sit still.
Yeah, it's a lot better than playing it to the left where it kind of slopes down into the creek. And Tyler just drains the birdie. Great putt by Tyler to start off round 2, getting him to even par for the tournament.
Looks like Andrew's going to be maybe edge of circle, 25, 30, something like that.
Yeah, not great footing, having to straddle kind of on an uphill slope. But he makes it work. Good putt by Andrew. Also with a birdie, getting him to 6 down. Playing with the lead's never easy.
Yeah, and like I was saying there, it kind of just hits that hillside and just stops in place. Sometimes you even get a lucky roll back toward the basket, so he capitalizes on that and gets his birdie.
Yeah, Chaz said that's how you birdie hole 1 right there. As well as Kaleb, Tyler, and Andrew. Looks like we got ourselves a star frame on hole 1. Okay, we got hole 2. It's a par 3, 212 feet, just downhill the entire way. Lots of little trees, kind of intermittently throughout the fairway. There's a creek bed right in front of the basket. The creek plays as casual. There is a rock cliff right here you'll see under the basket, and anything that comes to rest under there you get free relief from. But the only other real danger is going long into the cow pasture back there. So as long as you can keep it short of that and get all the way down there without hitting a tree, you'll be okay. And Chaz just catches an early tree. It's impressive to me that he throws lefty backhand, lefty sidearm, righty sidearm. Kaleb throwing the lefty sidearm down the right gap, and that looks to push kind of all the way down there. Probably came to rest in the creek. So Andrew told me he was going roller off this pad. And he did. I believe that was his gator.
That's impressive. And gutsy.
Yeah, but with a roller, I mean, takes a lot of the danger long out of it. And it kind of gets you to the creek bed fairly easily. As you see Tyler throwing, he gets pretty much all the way down there. He'll have a putt at 2 also, I believe.
Yeah, we got Chaz still up here on top of the hill. He can still scramble for his par fairly easily, I believe. Just miss these first few trees. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, tough start to hole 2 for Chaz. This is what he's got left for his par. And that's looking good. Just kind of pitching up and taking bogey. But at least the birdie on 1's kind of offsetting the bogey on 2, so he's still at even par for the round.
Yeah, just getting up and over that creek bed right there at the bottom was a good play.
Oh, yeah. And Andrew's roller kind of had a little more angle on it than I think he wanted and just kind of pushed him way down here to the left. But he has somewhat of a bid at it and just leaves it a little bit left, but that'll be a pretty routine par for Andrew. And coming into this round tied for first, pars aren't a bad thing for him.
Yeah, he can afford to play a little reserved at the moment.
And Kaleb cashes the putt for his birdie on hole 2, starting out 2 down through 2 holes in round 2. It's a great start for Kaleb. When he's on, he's on.
What about when he's not?
He's still on. It's incredible. And Tyler also getting the 2. Good start for Tyler. 2 down through 2. He's matching Kaleb so far.
Yeah, speaking of being on, looks like Tyler's on a mission.
Man on a mission. Chaz tapping in for his bogey. This is a tough hole. It's a short one. It's right there, and you feel like you should get it, but there's a lot of little stuff in the way that can take that birdie away from you in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, the green plays really fast on this one because you got to land up over that creek bed, but you definitely don't want to slide way past it. We got hole 3. It's a par 4, 457 feet. This is kind of a tricky one because it's going to change directions on you a few times. It kind of makes a S shape a couple different times. Really, the fairway is pretty clean, but if you get off of it, it is going to make scrambling really tough. Also, for your big arms, there's potential to reach it for a 2, but I think most people would be really happy with a 3 here.
Yeah, it's a really tight line, and you kind of got to throw something flippy and throw it on hyzer and let it stand up. Unless you're Kaleb, and then you're throwing sidearm because you're lefty. And Chaz, I guess. We'll see what he does. And Kaleb just kind of catches that middle group of trees and drops everything down to the left side there. But still scrambleable there from there.
Yeah, that group of trees is what gets 90% of people that play this hole. It's tough to get by.
Yeah, and Tyler's kind of fights through up to the middle. Again, you don't need to bite off a whole lot of distance here to be able to get a 2. You're kind of looking for placement. Sorry, a 3, a birdie. It's a par 4. But anyways, moving on. Andrew going with a mid here. Also just catches something right there in the middle and kicks it off to the left.
Yeah, most of these guys are going to try and start to turn their disc right before those trees to get a full flex out of it. And it looks like Chaz kind of just throws that one too nose up, and it gets a lot of turn out of it too.
Yeah, as long as you kind of get decently far up there, it's still scrambleable to get a birdie, but you really just don't want to have anything that's super blocked off. So you see Kaleb throwing a sidearm, just kind of up back into the fairway, and he'll have a manageable shot from there to get up and down.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew's going to try and scramble his way out of there too, and kind of just playing left to right.
Yeah, now he's going to have to kind of come back into the fairway from there and try to get up and down for his par. And Tyler kind of was right in the middle of the fairway. And that was looking good. Kind of faded out a little bit early right at the end, but that'll give him a long putt at his birdie. But I think this is the area where you can see a lot of trouble come from over here. And that's pretty good from over there. Chaz had a good line on it and just caught a tree late and kicked him right down. But he'll have a long look at a birdie from there.
Yeah, it looks like we got Andrew trying to scramble again, throw a sidearm up there. And it hits a tree and kind of drops down. He'll have a long look at it.
Yeah, and at this point, Andrew's just trying to get out of this hole with the least amount of damage possible and move on to the next one. Kaleb throwing a touchy up shot with his zone. That'll put him in the circle for a putt for par. If you're Andrew and you know that you were tied to lead coming in this round, when you're running this, or you're just laying up to take bogey?
I would run it. I think it's a pretty safe run. I mean, you got all that behind you. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, and it looked like he kind of just gave it a little bit of a lofty bid there, knowing that if he didn't make it, it would be still a stress-free bogey.
Yeah, giving it that hot and time to slow down so it's not going to sail past the basket.
Oh, and Chaz just barely tickles the left side of the chains for his birdie. It's a good bid at it from a long ways out.
Do you think the baskets are ticklish?
I would like to not answer that. Tyler kind of just hits the cage a little low. He'll have a tap-in par, as does Chaz. Not losing strokes. with a par on this hole. At least not on this card, you're not.
Yeah, everybody just kind of cleaning it up now. Trying to just get off of this hole and move to the next.
Yeah, it's a tough line off the tee pad. It's really tight, and if you're off to the left or right, it makes scrambling pretty tough. But that'll pretty much do it for hole 3. Okay, we got hole 4. It's a par 3. It's 187 feet, so it's a relatively short hole, but it's super uphill, and the green is got some of the most rollaway potential out of any green I've played. It's almost like a 45-degree angle with the slope running down to the left. And the camera doesn't do it justice, so definitely want to get something close so that you don't have a sketchy putt.
Yeah, and this is kind of a tricky shot for Kaleb, throwing the backhand lefty.
Yeah, and I think that was his Luna, just trying to get it to kind of bend towards the basket and get him something on the edge of the circle. I don't think he was being super aggressive here, and as a lefty, it's kind of hard to get aggressive with a backhand. And Tyler's kind of ends up right there with Kaleb, just kind of right up at the top of the hill before the gap that leads you to the basket on the left.
Okay, it looks like Chaz is going to go with the backhand, and it looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah, that was a good looking shot from Chaz. You want something just to clear the top of that hill. Not too much height, so it doesn't have enough room to finish down towards the bottom of the hill, but just kind of slide up into the circle. And this is Andrew's gator again, I think. A little bit inside, but fights through. He'll have a putt at it. And that's all you can really ask for on this hole.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit stable of a disc for the slope and the hill, but I kind of like the idea. I think it would get to the ground quick.
Yeah, it was just a little bit inside, but he'll have a putt at it. As Tyler kind of gives it a jumpy bid, but also kind of not risking a roll away here.
Yeah, I learned my lesson on this hole. Personally, I'm laying up every time.
Even if you're parked?
Even if I'm parked.
Smart. Kaleb drills the 2 from edge of circle. That's a great 2 for him to get. Shout out to my guy, Alan Ryder, who took down the MA2 division. Always getting some camera time.
Yeah, he is on fire here recently, so shout out to Alan.
Yeah, he's 2 for 2 in disco throws tournaments, so we'll have to put another one on for him to get another win. Andrew kind of just airmails this one a little bit, just left of the chains, it looked like. He'll have a death putt coming back from there. I know it's only 10 feet or so, but as Tyler taps in his par. But again, Andrew having a pretty decent lead on the field. Par is not the worst thing in the world.
I would have laid that up.
Except for Robert Duncan. He was tied with him coming into this. But yeah, I know you would have laid it up. And Chaz absolutely parked it. Taking the easy tap into. That's how you play the hole.
Yeah, guy ain't messing around.
Yeah.
We got hole 5. It's a par 3, 270 feet. This is a tricky one, especially for my friend Jacob over here, who went for a swim while he was trying to throw it. Anyways, you throw it right down the fairway, and you want to miss these trees that are guarding the basket. Even though they're a little bit away from the basket, if they catch one, it will sling into the woods. So, good luck.
The swimming was intentional. As you see, Kaleb throwing his, I think that's his Luna again. Just slow drift to the left the whole way. And gets a nice little roll off the hill towards the basket. He'll have a edge of circle, maybe a little bit further putt for his birdie. As you see Chaz throwing the lefty backhand. Again, kind of getting a roll off the backside of that hill. That might have needed to sit down before it gets a little too long, but he's up there and he'll have a look at it.
Yeah, that was really fortunate to kind of get that kick back toward the basket, but hopefully he'll be okay.
Tyler just misses a little bit inside, kicks it off into the left. That'll be a Tough lie from over there, but
That
he
will
might
not
have
be okay.
He might have something out of there. I believe in you, Tyler. Andrew just throwing his mid
And his body.
right up the gut and gets a little bit of a late tree kick, but he'll still have a long putt at it. Yeah, and Tyler kind of almost gets all the way out and catches one of the last trees in that last group of trees before getting to the green. So he's just trying to pitch up and get up and down here. And hits the pin, so made that look easy.
Yeah, like you said, made it look pretty easy. If we only could just all do that off the tee, we'd be alright.
One day. Got Andrew from, looks to be about 45-ish. And just cans it, slowly, casually walking it in. I remember I played a tournament with him, and he made a long putt. He said, I don't run putts in, I walk them in.
Slow-mo replay.
Yeah, and just right at it the whole way. It's a great two from Andrew. Didn't break stride.
What a guy. What a high amount of swag that guy's got.
Just so stoic in the walk up to the basket. It's a great two from Andrew. Good putt.
Not getting a hurry for anybody.
And Kaleb's drive kind of just fed towards the basket off that hill and cans it for birdie, getting him to 4 down through 5 holes.
Yeah, just try to stop this guy. I dare you.
It's the last name. It's the power of the Littles, even though we're not related. Chaz just leaves it short into the cage, making minis with Tyler's disc. So that's interesting. But easy tap-in par for Chaz and a tap-in bogey for Tyler.
At least he didn't have to work for the bogey.
And after 5 holes, we'll get a leaderboard update. We got Andrew Bell and Robert Duncan still knotted up at 6 down. Liam making a push to 2 down, and Kaleb also making a push with a hot start to round 2. Then you got Tyler and Luke at 1 down, and a couple people at even, and then keeps going from there. So let's get into hole 6. It is a par 3. It's 247 feet, and it's a pretty tight tunnel shot with a low ceiling. You need something to finish over to the right side once you get up to the green on this mound. Lots of rollaway potential and a pretty guarded basket. So keep something low, let it finish right. Other than that, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I don't really care for that mound right there at the basket. When I threw it, I hit it and shot way off to the left in the creek, so no thank you.
That seems to be a user error, as Kaleb is going, I think that's a buzz, kind of right up the gut, letting it slide up to the edge. You'll have a putt at it from there.
Andrew's going to go with the sidearm. Wonder if he's going to try and flare it up over that hill.
And this is just a little bit high. Gets a tree kick about halfway there. You might have a little bit of work to do on that one.
Yeah, sidearm out of Chaz. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. You hit that mound, and then it sends you off to the left a little bit. But I think he'll still have a putt. I think he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it looked like his kind of sat and as opposed to kicking off to the left. But hopefully it didn't roll. You see Tyler also going to sidearm. This is just a little bit early. Had a good line on it. It was just a little bit early. And that is rolling and sits back down in the middle of the fairway. So he'll have a safe kind of run at it from there. Andrew's got a sketchy bid for his 2. And he's just laying up, playing smart, taking his par and moving on.
Yeah, I like that play. Just knowing when to lay up, knowing when to play smart. He's playing the way he should be right now.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's tough to play when you know you're in contention and knowing when to run it and when not to. But he seems to be handling that pretty well right now. As you see Tyler pitching up there, he'll have a tap in par. And this is where Kaleb's drive came to. He's looking to go 5 down through 6 holes.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. It just got a little bit better.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. 5 down through 6 holes. Not bad, especially for a 17-year-old.
Especially for just a kid.
Although he plays like he's in his 20s. And Chaz also connecting on the birdie. He didn't get a terrible reaction off that hill, but still had a little bit of work to do and a uphill putt at it. Then we got Tyler just tapping in, cleaning up his par. Staying at even par for the tournament. And Andrew with the easy tap in after pitching up, just taking par.
All right, we got hole 7, par 3, 427 feet. You're going straight down this hill the whole way, and it's actually a blind tee shot off of the tee. So it's a tricky one because you really got to match that slope. You don't want to go long, but with 427 feet, that's not a hard thing to do.
Yeah, it plays super downhill, and it's really hard to get something low enough without catching some ground before the grade of the fairway really changes. But oftentimes you'll see something finish out early left or long in the basket. And Kaleb's got this one turned over a little bit. Kind of catches the leaves and drops them down right inside the tree line. I think that was his Luna again, just a little bit too flippy. So you see Chaz. This one had a good height on it. Yeah, and that looks pretty good from Chaz. He'll have a putt at it.
Yeah, and Kaleb throwing a putter 427 feet kind of speaks for just how downhill this shot really is.
Or how crazy strong Kaleb is.
No, probably just how downhill it is.
I tried, Kaleb. We got Andrew. Also looks like a mid-range from him. Just kind of trying to play it right down the right side, and this just comes out just a little bit early again. But it looked like it stayed out of the woods for the most part. It could have rolled into it. Tyler looking to kind of do the same thing and get himself a look. And this kind of was turning right and then got stable right at the end. Kept it low. It's going to be short, but he had no worries about going long there into the OB behind the basket. So all in all, pretty good tee shot from Tyler.
Yeah, I really like the line Tyler threw it on.
And Kaleb just connects with that tree, trying to get all the way out, so he'll have a pretty obstructed putt for his par. And Andrew again, just kind of taking some medicine and laying up for par, playing the smart play.
Yeah. I would even say taking medicine rather than just knowing how to play the game right now, knowing where he's standing and making the right decisions.
Okay, well, I apologize. Not taking medicine, as you hear from Chase.
It's okay.
Tyler's got a long bit at his 2, and just leaves it a little bit off to the right. It's kind of a sketchy putt with how downhill it is behind the basket, but that stayed pretty close, so he'll have a putt coming back. And this is Chaz's birdie putt, trying to get the even par from the tournament. Just leaves it low into the cage again, kind of not a super death putt, but be a lot coming back if you miss long.
I just never know which hand Chaz is going to use to throw.
It's safe to say he'll putt lefty. We can at least assume that. But other than that, yeah, it's kind of roll the dice, it looks like. As Chaz taps in his par. Andrew wasting no time tapping in his par.
Yeah, didn't even go through his full routine. Shocking.
I think it's close enough to where he didn't need that. It's Kaleb's first blemish of the round, taking a bogey on hole 7. And that brings us to hole 8. It's a par 3, 308 feet. Just a tight tunnel shot all the way down this corridor. You don't want to be right. You don't really want to be left, but if you miss left or right, left is the miss. And if you can make it all the way out here, you don't want to go long of the basket because the tall grass behind it plays as a hazard. So expect some mid-ranges here, maybe a pretty understable fairway or a overstable sidearm, as Chaz has shown us. This one's low and just kind of skips all the way up to the gap, and you'll have a long bit at it from there.
I love that it had the little dust trail behind it the whole way, just showing all the speed.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Roadrunner from cartoons.
Meep.
Anyways, this is Andrew's Comet, I believe. Just a little bit of too much movement to the right and catches a little bit of the slope and pushes it over to the left, but he'll have a manageable, at least a par from there. Might have a look at a 2. And Tyler also taking the sidearm. Just kind of catches a limb high and rolls it down the left a little bit.
Pretty fortunate to stay in the fairway as he did, though.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go far left. And Kaleb catches early, and another fortunate kick right back into the fairway for Kaleb.
Yeah, fairway's key here. You can definitely still scramble for a par if you're in the fairway. If you're not, good luck.
That's a good shot from Tyler, kind of forcing over an overstable putter approach disc. And Kaleb likes throwing frisbees, as you can hear him say. Good for him. It shows.
Clip it.
So much personality from such a silly guy.
Okay. Andrews looks like he's kind of struggling to see where the basket's at with how much is rolled down this hill right here. Just throwing a nice little hyzer up into the green, and he'll take another par if he can connect on that putt.
Let's see what Chaz is made of.
Oh yeah, and gets it to go.
Oh my God.
with the body English, steering it right into the basket. And that'll get us another Disco Throws slow-mo replay.
I love the slow-mos.
Are you going to say that every time there's a slow-mo?
I'm going to say it every time.
Great putt from Chaz. That was about 40, 45 feet out. Just hooked it up right at the end, and it's a great 2 to get.
Yeah, well, that's a hard putt to follow up, Tyler.
Yeah, if big putt's a real thing, that's kind of living evidence of it.
Yeah, that one always hurts. Even if you didn't just get big putted, that's going to hurt either way. But
It'll be a tap-in bogey. At least it's stress-free, not having to work for it. As Andrew also taps in for par, as does Kaleb. It's a pretty cool hole. Definitely got to throw something straight or make long putts. Either one.
all right, and on to hole 9, everybody's favorite. It's the most scenic hole in the course. It's a par 4, 567 feet. The long grass on your right side is hazard. Other than that, the left side has got some OB, I believe.
Yeah, it's called a creek.
An OB creek, so I'm told. And then there's the money shot right there.
There's also a double mando you got to hit off the tee, which is often forgotten about, but hopefully that doesn't come into play here.
I've never forgot about it.
That doesn't surprise me. As Chaz absolutely crushes a sidearm, catches up in some leaves and drops him down. He's safe there, and he'll have probably another sidearm into the pin from there. And Andrew this is high and early, and this is finishing into the hazard, so he's going to be throwing his 3 from there.
Yeah, great shot from Kaleb. Kind of a crush also.
Yeah, if that was higher, that could have gotten a ton of distance on it, just a line drive, but a safe shot nonetheless.
Looks like Tyler's going to go with the sidearm, kind of flex it out a little bit, and put it right in the middle. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, with this hole being a par 4, you really just need to play for placement and break it down one shot at a time. And Andrew gets a good move on that one from the hazard. He'll have a putt to save his par from there.
Not the putt you're going to want because he's facing right at that creek.
That's the truth. Chaz juices his sidearm, kind of gets a little bit of a flare early, and he's also going to have somewhat of a deft putt into the basket with the creek right behind it.
That's looking real good. It just needs to slow down, and I think that'll be just fine.
Yeah, that looked good. He gave it plenty of height, plenty of width, and just kind of let the disc do the work back into the green.
Kind of a tricky shot throwing backhand here for Kaleb. Kind of brings that creek more into play, but not for him. He pretty much lays it right where he needs to.
Yeah, and I think that was his zone, so he at least knew it was going to finish away from the creek as opposed to carry long into it.
Okay, this is not the putt you want to have, but it's still a putt.
Yeah, this is where it kind of gets a little risky. And that needs to sit down. Looks like it kind of checked up right before the water. So he'll have that coming back for his par. And with Andrew taking the hazard stroke, this is for his par. Also not a putt you want to.
Yeah, this is not one you want for par.
Yeah, and it looked like he was just trying to not lay up, but kind of give it a soft run and then just make sure he didn't bring the OB into play there.
Yeah, I think there was just a little bit of fear in that putt. Just kind of kept him from fully committing.
Yeah, it's a tough putt to commit to, especially when it's for par instead of for birdie. As Tyler just barely catches some chains on his birdie putt. Kaleb cashes in another birdie. Solid 9 holes for Kaleb.
Yeah, pretty stress-free on that putt.
And this is Chaz's comebacker for par. Yeah, good putt from Chaz. Kaleb being awful courteous, clearing everyone's discs out of the basket. As we got Andrew tapping in for bogey and Tyler tapping in for par on the scenic hole 9 out of here at Neatman Creek Disc Golf Course. Okay, and let's check in with our feature card. Round 2 through 9 holes. Andrew's at 5 down. Kaleb's at 3 down. Chaz is at even, and Tyler's 1 up with 9 holes to play.
All right, we're going to get an overall view of everybody here. And we still are tied up at the top at 5 down with Andrew and Robert. And then Liam and Kaleb chasing shortly behind.
Yeah, and shout out to my guy, Sam Smichael, who aced hole 8. Meant to mention that on hole 8. Got it with a buzz. It's a good one to get.
I'm still Chase Pittman. All right, so that'll do it for our front 9.
Yeah, we had a bunch of hot scores.
Kaleb.
Especially. Lit it up, front 9. We got 9 holes to play. We got a tight race. It's anybody's ball game. And the back 9's not easy. Front 9 is the easier part of the course. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. We will have the back 9 coverage for you shortly, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, you can visit our YouTube channel, subscribe, visit us on Facebook and give us a follow, and also visit us on Instagram and give us a follow there. And we appreciate all the support.
Absolutely.
And we will catch you guys on the back 9.